Premanande Hari Hari. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The last session on Friday, that is Friday afternoon session, to become a question-answer session. Yes, sure. So that shows that many of you have many questions. I'm giving the session every day, question-answer. And do you want more time for question-answer? Okay, at this point, how many of you have questions? 1, 2, 3. Okay, Raghunath.
I realized that since you're speaking about the lives of Lord Krishna, I realized I don't know so much about them. The beginning, I know a little bit, but about the others, I really don't know so much. We know anything about Lord Krishna, but not the principle queens.
Very good. So, Srimad Bhagavatam gives the description of the queens. 10th canto, say 54 onwards actually. You get anyway. So, the main thing is that we did not really go so deep into Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's why Prabhupada gave the Krishna book. In Krishna book actually we have all the descriptions. But yeah, it's true also that other queens' descriptions are not so much. Just Rukmini's and Satyabhama are the two principal queens, and their activities have been described. Krishna, there is a description of how Krishna got married to them. But how Krishna was spending time with them, we know only that Krishna had 16,108 gopis, and Krishna had 10 children out of each queen, not gopi, 16,108 queens, and out of each queen Krishna had 10 children, and so that means what, 161,080 children. But for Krishna it's nothing. If Krishna can expand himself into 16,000 Krishnas, then Krishna can jolly well have 10 children out of each one. And to have 160,000, 61,000 children is nothing for Krishna. When he has so many millions of children already. And not only that, Krishna expanded himself with each one of them. Krishna has expanded with each one of the living entity as the super soul in the heart. So if Krishna can expand as a super soul, why can't Krishna expand as the queen's husbands and have their dealings with him, with them? So that is the important thing to understand, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We cannot understand Krishna's ability from our angle of vision. Remember Prabhupada gives the example of the frog in the well. Frog had been told about the ocean, and frog was trying to figure out the ocean by 2 times the size of the well, 20 times the size of the well, 2,000 times of the well. But no matter how he tries to measure or understand the ocean from the well perspective, it will never be able to. Therefore, we have to rely on scriptures, descriptions that have been given about Krishna's activities in the scriptures. From that, we have to recognize. And to begin with, Krishna's ability is inconceivable. It's beyond our understanding, beyond our imagination. And Krishna was every day, it has been described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that Krishna was in 16,108 palaces, and every morning 16,108 Krishnas would come out of the palaces. And then as he would go towards the assembly hall, all these Krishnas will merge, and it's one Krishna who will walk into the assembly hall. Some could see, some couldn't see. So that's how wonderful Krishna is. Yes, Nayana Manjari, what's your question?
My question, Guru Maharaj, yesterday you spoke that Krishna is coming only in our age as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that in other ages he came like an avatar of Sri Vishnu.
Yeah.
I understand correctly. And when I was in Sri Rangam, I was very disturbed to see that Krishna was worshipped as an avatar of Vishnu. So is it to understand that the Sri Sampradaya is like very ancient and they are worship Krishna not from our age but from a previous age?
You see, the thing is, this Sri Sampradaya is the worshipper of Narayan. And that's why they see that Krishna is an incarnation of Narayan. That is their understanding. Krishna is an incarnation of Narayan. There's nothing wrong. Krishna is the incarnation also. Right? There is one aspect of Krishna that he came is the as the Yugavatar. Right? So, to consider that this Krishna is a Yugavatar who is an expansion of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, there is nothing wrong in it. Because Krishna is also the Yugavatar. Okay? But that is the difference between them, those four Sampradayas, and Gaudiya Vaishnavas, us. The understanding that we have due to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, they don't have. They are sticking to their Sampradaya's teachings. Fine, that's okay. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave us a very special understanding, because this Krishna who appeared in Dwapar Yuga is a very special Krishna. He is not an incarnation, he is the source of all incarnations. He comes only once in a day of Brahma. So that understanding we are getting from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They didn't get that understanding. Yeah, Ramanujacharya was worshipper of Lakshmi Narayan. Although he is incarnation of Ananta Shesh. But still he knows, but he is not revealing everything. Because that time it was not meant to be revealed. It was left up to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and reveal who is Krishna. Ramanujacharya's business was to defeat Shankaracharya's theory and establish Vaishnava theory over Mayavad theory. You see, this is also Krishna's divine arrangement. Krishna himself came as Buddha to stop animal sacrifice. And that animal sacrifice was going on in the name of the Vedas. So what is the safest way? What's the easiest way to stop animal sacrifice? Animal sacrifice was going on in the name of the Vedas. So remove Vedas, no animal sacrifice. Alright? So that's what Krishna did. Appearing as Buddha, he said there's no need to follow the Vedas. And he propounded a new theory, Buddhism. And so now the Vedas have been rejected. But how can one understand the spiritual subject matter properly without approaching the Vedas? So Vedas have to be re-established. So that's why Krishna told Lord Shiva, you go and establish the Vedas. Right? Now Buddhists don't accept Vedas. So how can you? Now the whole of India became Buddhist. So how to convince the Buddhists and re-establish the Vedas? They all became Buddhists. So Shankaracharya took one aspect of the Buddhism. The ultimate consideration of Buddhism is nirvana. Nirvana means become nothing. So Shankaracharya pointed out that this nirvana is a Vedic concept. But the Vedic understanding of nirvana is not to become nothing, but to become everything. So what is more logical? To become nothing or to become everything? Become everything means become the Supreme. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Absolute. To become, instead of becoming nothing, to become absolute. Which one is more reasonable? Who wants to become nothing? We all are something. We all are somebody. So that's why Prabhupada pointed out that Buddhism is actually, through this nirvana concept, it's actually propounding spiritual suicide. Destroying the spirit soul. So anyway, Ramanujacharya established that concept, Shankaracharya established, re-established the Vedas. Now the Vedas have been re-established, but in order to make Vedas acceptable, Shankaracharya made some modification. Shankaracharya started his own theory, which is called Mayavad or Kevaladvaitavad or Vivartavad. Word Vivarta means concept of illusion. Shankaracharya established that concept of illusion. Whereas the Vedic concept is the concept of transformation. Brahma transforms into Jagat. Transformation. But Shankaracharya, over and above that, rejecting that concept, he established a new concept called Vivartavad, or theory of illusion. This theory of illusion is something like, illusion means it is not there but appears to be there. Example that he gave is mirage. Mirage gives the impression of water, but there is no water. Another example is mistaking a rope to be a snake. A rope in darkness, semi-darkness, appears to be like a snake. It's not a snake, it's rope, but appears to be like a snake. So in this way he pointed out this perception of this material reality, material nature is like that illusion. So the Vivarta is a pure Sanskrit word, which means illusion, but the common word is Maya, illusion. Another name of illusion is Maya. So therefore it has been established as Mayavad. So okay, Shankaracharya established the Vedas. In order to do that, he had to present a new theory. Now that theory has to be corrected. So Ramanujacharya came. Shankaracharya's principle or conclusion is Kevala Advaitavad, absolute non-duality. And Ramanujacharya came and gave his theory of Vishishtadvaitavad, special non-dualism, specific non-dualism. And how he kind of defeated Shankaracharya's theory of Mayavad, that fine, the mirage is mistaken to be water. Now somewhere water is there, therefore you are mistaking mirage to be water. Fine, there is no snake, but somewhere the snake is there, therefore you are mistaking the rope to be snake. Somewhere the variegated, personalistic appearance is there, therefore you are mistaking that to be that. Anyway, so this is how Ramanujacharya re-established the Vaishnava philosophy. And so he presented it according to that sampradaya. You see, 4 different sampradayas coming from 4 different roots or 4 different origins. Shri from Lakshmi Devi, Rudra from Lord Shiva, Brahma from Brahma, and Kumar from 4 Kumaras. These are the 4 original sampradayas. So they are sticking to their teachings of their sampradayas, but then, see, all the destination of all these 4 sampradayas is Vaikuntha. But then Krishna comes and he reveals his Braja Leela. So now there is a need to explain what is Braja Leela. In order to explain that, Sri Krishna came as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and explained what is Braja Leela, specialty of Braja Leela. So that is why, although it is coming from Brahma Sampradaya, but it is beyond Brahma Sampradaya's teachings. So this is how all these 4 sampradayas, it supersedes all 4 sampradayas, because in simple words, all 4 sampradayas are taking you to Vaikuntha, but Mahaprabhu is taking you to Vrindavan. So therefore we will find some differences between their understanding and our understanding. Okay? Okay. Sanjay, what's your question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My question is actually about practicalities for reading and using tools, technology for reading. We've got lots of books that we read, that is education for us. It does take time to get through all those books and to actually try to understand. There are tools out there in the market that actually convert those books into more text where we can listen, and other senior devotees have used those. What's your opinion around using text-to-speech technology in order to acquire knowledge?
So do it. What's your background? Are you from IT background?
Yeah.
So do it. How is your voice? Good. So you recite. Okay. Yeah, why not? There was a time this knowledge was transmitted just through oral reception. Guru is to speak, disciple is to hear, and disciple is to remember. But then Kali Yuga began. So, Kali Yuga memory, as we often say, Kali Yuga memory. If the memory is like a tape recorder, then Kali Yuga brain is like a defective tape head. So, if the tape head is blunt, it won't record. So that's what is happening with us. Therefore, there was a need for writing down. We won't be able to retain everything here, but at least it is kept somewhere, retained somewhere, that we can access to. And you go to think of it like as the time is passing, the technology is advancing more and more. And as a result of that, our brain is becoming more and more lazy, more and more useless. We are not using the brain anymore. Like the other day in America, I was consulting with some people who are giving us some idea about how to build something and what we will need. They were actually going to supply the materials for building. And the team was being led by one lady. And when it come to calculation, I was just calculating in my mind and I was telling this. And she was amazed. So, wow, you can calculate in your mind. The thing is, you see, that's what we learn to do when we were young. We learned to, didn't we do that? Like, I don't know about you, but we did. But for today's people, it is something amazing because she was admitting that I don't use my brain. Whenever there is something, I just get my calculator and just... So see how they're depending, and as a result of that, their brains are becoming lazy and useless because they're not using it. So in any case, in any way, in the age of Kali, our brain is blunt. Our brain is useless. And now the technology, modern technology is making it, accelerating its uselessness. I tell you, a time will come when if there is no calculator, people won't be able to figure out how much is 2 plus 2. Anyway, so that's why we have to be aware of Kali's influence and try to counter that influence of Kali. Kali Yuga's influence, and become, like in one hand we should take advantage of that. But the thing is, we should train our children to memorize, this simple, memorize the tables, right? Memorize, when you know something, then it's easy. When you don't know something, it's difficult, right? So while using modern technology, we should also be very careful. What's the harm? Why do you have to listen? Why can't they read?
You can't read. It's just that the speed of retention and the speed of actual information that you gain through listening. You can read it as well as listen. You can actually listen quickly. That's one.
That's what you are saying. We can read and we can listen. But when it comes to it, they'll say, why read? Listen. Isn't it? Because reading takes more strain. Reading is more strenuous. So why read? Listen. At least when you are reading, you have to focus your mind. When you are listening, you don't have to do anything in your mind. It's coming. Isn't it?
I suppose you have to focus and concentrate still on listening. But you're right.
I'll also admit that, it is, modern technology has become helpful. I notice, Google is so helpful. Anything, any information you want, just go to Google search. You have it. I'll give you an example. This morning, I mentioned Jarasandha's father's name. But I had some doubt in my mind whether I said it right. So when I went back to my room, I looked at Jarasandha's father's name. It was there. So, it is helpful. The information technology has advanced considerably.
There are already tools like text-to-speech, which actually reads the text that you already have and converts it into speech, and you can increase the speed of the listening to actually accelerate the hearing of the words. Already tools are.
Good. Let somebody digest it for you. And you can eat the digested food. You can look at it that way, but there is another way of looking at it also. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let me see. So, Krishna, through Rukmini, got his first son. His name was Pradyumna. So, when Pradyumna was not even 4 days old, a demon called Sambarasura stole him. Can you imagine the condition of the mother? So this is how another thing we notice, Krishna's devotees' life often not really that smooth and exciting and joyful. Krishna's devotees often go through various difficulties. Can you imagine Krishna's own queen lost her child? 10 days, the child is missing. The other instances also, we see the cowherd boy is going through so many difficulties at times. We don't really get to see what the difficulties they were facing. We can also see, can you imagine a huge python came and started to swallow Nanda Maharaj? Can you imagine yourself? Seeing a snake 10 feet away, you run out of fear. And a huge snake starts to eat you up. But the wonderful thing about Krishna's pastimes is that it's not that the devotees, Krishna's devotees don't go through difficulties, but Krishna protects his devotees from those difficult situations. So that is the wonderful thing about Krishna's pastimes. So naturally, everyone is in acute anxiety in the palace. Rukmini is crying and crying. What happened to my son? What happened to my son? And what did happen to the son? Mind you, Krishna's own son, firstborn. A demon called Sambarasura stole that boy, newborn, 10-day-old boy. Why? Because Sambarasura was informed that this boy, this child of Krishna from Rukmini is going to kill him. Therefore, when the child was born, Sambarasura, who had the ability to assume any form, he could assume any form, and he stole that child and carried that child flying through the space, and when it came to an ocean, dropped that child. Now, this child didn't die, but what happened is a huge fish swallowed that child. And some fishermen caught that fish in the net. And they were very excited to find such a big fish. And so the fishermen took that fish to the king. Who was the king of that place? Sambarasura. And he was excited to see such a big fish. So Sambarasura sent it to the kitchen, to the head cook. Make some nice fish preparation. But when the cook was cutting the fish, he found that there was a child in the belly of the fish. The child was alive. So there was a girl there who used to serve in the kitchen of Sambarasura. Her name was Mayavati. Mayavati was the wife of Madan or Kamdev, or Cupid. Cupid lost his body. How many of you know how Cupid lost his body? How many of you don't know how Cupid lost his body? How many of you want to hear how Cupid lost his body? Okay. Do you remember what happened to Sati, the daughter of Daksha? And Daksha was not happy with Sati's husband. See, Daksha is a materialist, and a materialistic person cannot really appreciate the activities of a pure devotee. Lord Shiva is a pure devotee of Krishna. And as a result of that, his activities are quite strange. He doesn't have any place to stay. He doesn't have any clothes to wear. He spends most of his time in crematorium. his associates or followers are all the ghosts and hobgoblins. And so Daksha was quite upset with Lord Shiva. Like, here's a person who is so uncivilized according to him. The word Daksha actually literally means a materially efficient person. He's very efficient. But Daksha, so he practically severed his relationship with Sati and her husband, Lord Shiva. So once Daksha was performing a very special sacrifice, and all the demigods were invited, and Sati saw that all these demigods are going, and she inquired, what is happening, where are they going? Oh, they're going to Daksha's sacrifice. Oh, there's a sacrifice, there is a festival in my father's place. So she went and told Lord Shiva that I heard that there's a festival. I want to go to my father's house. So Lord Shiva told him that, look, you didn't get any invitation. She said, to go to my father's house? I don't need an invitation. So, although Lord Shiva told her not to go, but still she insisted on going. And when she went to the father's house, her father was not at all happy to see her. And he actually started to insult Lord Shiva in front of her. Started to speak badly about Lord Shiva. So Sati could not tolerate this blasphemy about her husband. So she gave up her body. So the news reached Lord Shiva, and already Lord Shiva's associates plundered the sacrifice. They broke everything. They beat up all these sages and whoever was there. Like there was a sage with long beard. They uprooted all his beard. Another person, he had beautiful teeth. They broke all his teeth. And Pushan. And as a result of that, this person cannot eat any solid stuff. Even now, he has to take just paste made out of his food stuff. And finally, Daksha was taken to that sacrificial Jupakashta, where the animal's head is locked, and Daksha's head was chopped off. So this is how Daksha's Yajna was plundered. And Lord Shiva then took the body of Sati and he started to dance his Tandava Nritta. Tandava Nritta is his dance of devastation. When Lord Shiva dances, then the whole creation falls apart. As if with his every step that he takes, the atoms and molecules split and whole creation just becomes destroyed. So the creation is about to be destroyed the way Lord Shiva was. He just went mad and started to dance like that. So all the demigods approached Vishnu and said, please do something about it. So then Vishnu released his Sudarshan Chakra, and Sudarshan Chakra started to cut the body of Sati. And Sati's body was cut into 51 pieces. And those 51 pieces fell in different parts of India, and they became 51 tirthas of Devi. So, and then all of a sudden, Lord Shiva noticed nothing that he was carrying is not all disappeared. Sati's body fully disappeared. And then Lord Shiva just sat down in meditation. Now, at that time, the demigods needed a general, because remember I told you this morning, Muchukanda was assuming the role of the general of the demigods. He was fighting for them against the demons. So, demigods were told that if you get a son from Lord Shiva, then he will become your able general. So, but Lord Shiva, Sati is gone, he doesn't have a wife. No, Sati has taken birth as Parvati, as the daughter of Himalaya and Menaka. So, the daughter is born, Sati has been reborn, but how to unite her to Lord Shiva? Parvati was taken to Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva was in such a meditation, such a trance, that he didn't have any external consciousness. Although Sati was just in front of him and was trying to serve him, still Lord Shiva didn't take any notice. So then demigods approached Madan, Kamdev, that you arouse that amorous feeling in the hearts of Lord Shiva by breaking his meditation. Madan said, nothing doing. I'm not going to risk my life. So demigod said, we'll protect you, don't worry. So being persuaded in this way by the demigods, Cupid agreed, and hiding from a distance, he shot his arrows. These arrows of Cupid causes the amorous feelings in the heart. So being struck by the arrows, Lord Shiva's meditation broke. And he was very, very angry. And he was wondering, who broke my meditation? And when his glance fell on Madan, then Madan was burnt to ashes. So that is why another name of Madan is Ananga. Ananga means one who doesn't have a body. So this Madan or Cupid was born as Pradyumna, Krishna's son from Rukmini. And Madan's wife, Rati, as Mayavati, was in the kitchen of Sambarasura. So, this is how, by the divine arrangement, Pradyumna or Madan, Cupid, again met Rati, his wife, as and then Mayavati could recognize, although a baby, she could recognize actually this is her husband, Cupid. And Pradyumna immediately grew up into a young man, extremely handsome. Cupid is famous for his beauty. Like that's why we say Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha. Kandarpa Koti. 1 koti is 10 million. Krishna's beauty is like tens of millions of Cupid's beauties, superior to the beauty of tens of millions of Cupids. So he grew up into a, and like as he grew up, Rati was behaving with her as if his lover. So he asked, "You are like my mother, why are you transgressing that and behaving like as my lover?" So then Rati told everything, what happened in the past, how he lost his body and now he has appeared. And she also knew that Pradyumna is going to kill Sambarasura and said that you have actually come to kill this demon. And this demon has awful mystic power. So when he's fighting with you, he will use those mystic power, like treacherous power. So here I am giving you this power called Mahamaya Shakti. So when he attacks you with that power, then you use this power and that will dispel his mystic power, illusory power. So, and Pradyumna went and challenged Sambarasura. Sambarasura was surprised. He said, "I didn't do anything to you. Why are you challenging me like that?" So he said, "No, you didn't do anything to me. You stole me from my mother's house, from my mother's lap. You threw me in the ocean. You wanted to kill me. And you are saying that you didn't do anything to me. Anyway, so now you know who I am." And he was surprised. "Oh, you are? I thought you were dead." Well, if I was dead, then do you think it's my ghost in front of you? And he challenged. And there was a terrible fight ensued. Sambarasura was extremely powerful also. But Pradyumna is Krishna's expansion, one of the Chaturbhujas. So, but here it's the pastimes. So Sambarasura at one point, when he saw that he couldn't really defeat Pradyumna, he just went up in the sky and invisibly he started to shower all kinds of weapons at Pradyumna. And Pradyumna then remembered that Mahamaya mantra. And Sambarasura's illusory magical power immediately became vanquished. And then now being visible in front of Pradyumna, Pradyumna attacked him. Again another fight ensued. Then finally Pradyumna with his sword just cut off the head of Sambarasura. And then with Rati or Mayavati, Sambarasura Pradyumna went after killing Sambarasura to Dwarka. And when the ladies of Dwarka saw, they thought that, oh, Krishna came back. It's Krishna. because he looked exactly like Krishna. But when Rukmini saw, she felt an overwhelming affection for the child. And she started to wonder, is this my lost child? And she felt it must be, because she was feeling such affection that milk started to flow from her breasts. And so this is how she could feel that this is. In the meantime, Krishna came, and Krishna saw Pradyumna, but he didn't say anything. He just stood there silently. But at that time, Narad Muni came and told everybody who this boy is. So this is how Pradyumna annihilated Sambarasura as it was predicted. Although Sambarasura, another thing, this is how we see, like how the demons, no matter how many ways they try to counteract Krishna's arrangement, they can't. So as a devotee, what should we do? Should we try to counteract Krishna's arrangement or surrender to Krishna's arrangement? And surrendering to Krishna's arrangement always brings auspiciousness and victory. Everybody wants to be the winner. And what's the best way to become the winner? Just surrender to the supreme winner. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna. So Krishna is always victorious. Ajita, therefore his name is Ajita, meaning one who is inconquerable. Krishna is inconquerable. Nobody can conquer Krishna. Yes, but still, somebody can conquer Krishna. Who can conquer Krishna? The devotees. Of course, Radharani. But not only Radharani. And therefore, it has been said that Ajitopi toistri lokam sthane stitva shrutigatan tanubang manobhi. Just being situated where we are, if we render devotional service unto Krishna with our body, mind and words, tanu, bang, manobhi, then although Krishna is inconquerable, he becomes conquered. So Krishna becomes conquered by the devotion of his devotees. So that is the unique position of devotees. And Krishna even went to the extent of telling that I become my devotee's servant. He actually uses the expression servant. I become my devotee's servant. Not that the devotees want Krishna to be their servant, but that is how Krishna feels. That is, whenever the devotee needs something, Krishna goes out of his way to provide for that. So, time and time again, through these anecdotes, through these pastimes of Krishna, we get to see how wonderful it is to become a devotee of Krishna, how wonderful it is to accept devotional service to Krishna. Therefore, one should not take this position lightly when you have this opportunity. Actually, this opportunity has been created by us, Srila Prabhupada, created to us by Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, where we would have been? Could any of us become a devotee had we not have received the mercy of Srila Prabhupada? No. So So this is a wonderful benediction that Srila Prabhupada is bestowing upon us. He is giving us such a wonderful opportunity to become his devotees. Become Krishna's, accept devotional service to Krishna. And what will be the benefit as we get to know the scriptures, the happenings and incidents from the scriptures, we get to know the benefit. Inconceivable benefit. Therefore, it is up to us to take this process, take this opportunity with full conviction and utmost sincerity. I know being involved in so many activities, especially householders, is very difficult to maintain that earnest involvement. But we must try. Like, no matter where, therefore it is a sthane sthitva. Wherever one is, whether you are a householder, whether you are a brahmachari, vanaprasthi or sannyasi, wherever you are, just being situated from there, render devotional service to Krishna. Tanubham manobhi, with your body, mind and words. And you will see what the benefit is like. It is difficult, but more difficult it is, greater is going to be the reward. More difficult, if it is easy, then the reward is also not that great. But when something is difficult and we try to do it for Krishna, then Krishna will reward us in a wonderful way. So please practice this process of Krishna consciousness wholeheartedly. There was a demon called Banasura. Banasura was actually Bali Maharaj's son. And he had 1,000 arms. Very powerful. And he was a very favorite devotee of Lord Shiva. So much so that Lord Shiva was guarding his capital. And Lord Shiva was always very favorably disposed and always gave him guidance. And so Banasura had a very beautiful daughter. And this girl had a dream. In a dream, she met one very, very handsome person. She told her friend, Chitralekha. No, she didn't tell that. When she was in a dream, she was talking. And her friend, Chitralekha was Banasura's minister's daughter. So Chitralekha asked, hey, what happened? And who did you dream? So Usha, Banasura's daughter, was very embarrassed. But finally she revealed to her friend that in a dream she came across such a person. So Chitralekha was a very, very talented artist. And she also had a great mystic power. So Chitralekha started to paint. Is this the person? No. Is this the person? No. Is this the person? No. So he was painting the features of all great personalities. But Usha was saying no, no, no. And then when it came to Aniruddha, Pradyumna's son, she just lowered her head. So Usha could make out, this is the one. Okay, Usha. Chitralekha told Usha. Okay, Usha, now I figured out. This is Krishna's grandson, Pradyumna's son. His name is Aniruddha. So since you desired him, I will get him. I'll fulfill you. I'm your friend, so I'll fulfill your desire. So Chitralekha had the ability to fly through the space. And when Aniruddha was asleep in the palace, from his bedroom, Chitralekha made him fly out with her and brought her to Usha's chamber in the palace. Another instance, the prince disappeared. So naturally there's a lot of anxiety, where he went, where did he go? So, and Usha was very happy to find the person of her love. And you see, in India, in this royal, not only royal, any family situation, the women's area is in a very kind of reserved area. No man is not allowed there. And especially Banasura, demons, under Mahal, you can well imagine how it was, the inner chamber. So Usha's nurse suspected something, that it looks like she's associated with a man. So this nurse or maidservant went and reported to Usha's mother, Queen. So Queen also came and saw Usha, and she could make out, yeah. But how is it possible? She doesn't go out anywhere, and no one is allowed to come inside. So how can she associate with any man? Like in the Vedic culture, sometimes the women are called Ashurjampasha. The ones who hadn't been seen even by sun god. Meaning even the sun rays didn't kind of couldn't see them. So that is how well protected they were. And here, there was a clear sign of her associating with a man. So the queen went, the mother went and told the father, Banasura. So then Banasura came to Usha's area of the palace, and there he found Aniruddha playing dice with Usha. So Banasura immediately told his bodyguards, arrest him. So Aniruddha didn't have any weapon. He just picked up an iron rod. And with this iron rod, he wiped out all those bodyguards of Banasura. Banasura was impressed. Wow. So then Banasura started to fight with him. And he also found it difficult to defeat him. So Vanasura used Brahmastra and tied him up with Brahmastra. And he arrested him. So Narad Muni went and reported to Krishna that Aniruddha has been arrested. So immediately Krishna and Balaram got the army, marched towards Shonitpur. Shonitpur, Shonit means blood. So you can well imagine Banasura's situation. And Pur means a city, city of blood. And that city, Shonitpur, was covered with some mystic arrangement that nobody could penetrate that. Like so kind of mystically protected. So when Krishna came there, he released his Sudarshan Chakra, and by the Shudarshan, the Kudarshan was dispelled. Then there was Krishna and the soldiers. What happened, Amarendra? The chair broke? Or you fell asleep? So then, as I mentioned, Lord Shiva also came to fight. And a terrible fight ensued. Krishna was fighting with Manasura. Balaram was fighting with Mahadev. Pradyumna was fighting with Kartikeya. And this is how it was a fight of the fight of the demigods and the demons together with the Jadus. And finally, Krishna caught Vanasura and he was about to kill him. But Lord Shiva appealed. He is my devotee. And Lord Shiva was already feeling very bad, feeling very guilty that he had been fighting with Krishna. To protect his devotee, he was fighting against his Lord and Master. So anyway, ultimately, Krishna chopped down. Yeah, one thing also, again, we must remember, Krishna gave Prahlad Maharaj the boon, the assurance that he will not kill any of his family members. So because Banasura is coming from that line, Prahlad Maharaj's son is Virochan, Virochan's son is Bali, Bali's son is Banasura. So therefore Krishna decided not to kill, but he chopped off his 996 arms. Left him only with 4 arms. And Banasura also learnt his lesson, falling at Krishna's lotus feet and begged forgiveness. And he offered his daughter Usha to Aniruddha. And this is how Aniruddha got married to Usha. So Usha was brought to Dwarka and with great festivity, Aniruddha was married to Usha. Do you remember Krishna had a friend, Sudama?
Yes.
When Krishna was in Guru's ashram in Avantipur, today's Ujjaini. So Sandipani Muni's, Krishna and Balaram went to Sandipani Muni's ashram to study, and they stayed there for 64 days and mastered 64 different arts. And Krishna was just behaving like a perfect student, perfect disciple to a guru. The guru used to need various things and they would go and collect. To perform yajna, the guru needed wood. So Krishna and Balaram and Sudama and others, they went to the forest to collect the wood. And then, all of a sudden, a torrential rain started to pour. The whole place became completely flooded and they could move. Then it became dark and they climbed up a tree and spent the night there, Krishna and Sudama. So the Guru became very much worried, and Sandipani Muni came searching in the morning, and he was so relieved to find that they were safe. So in the meantime, Krishna is the prince of Dwarka, and Sudama is a poor Brahmana. The Brahmanas actually accept the state of poverty voluntarily, because they consider that material opulence will distract them from their ultimate goal. The Brahmana's life is actually meant for performing austerity, for spiritual progress. So Sudama was poverty-stricken, quite poverty-stricken. But his wife used to feel the pinch, because the husband is unconcerned, but she has to maintain the household. And Sudama often used to speak to her about his friend Krishna. And he used to say all that he did with Krishna when they were in Guru's ashram. And where is Krishna now, your friend? Oh, he is in Dwarka. He's like the king of Dwarka. And actually he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she used to urge him, if you have such a wealthy friend, why don't you go and ask him that our household needs are at least is fulfilled. Sudama used to think, how can I go and ask anything from Krishna? We are friends. So finally, when his wife was coaxing him so much, so finally he thought, at least I can go and at least I'll be able to see Krishna. Even in this pretext, I can go and see Krishna. So Sudama decided to go, and his wife told him that, look, you're going to meet your friend, you should take some gift with you. What can we take? Then she went to some neighbors and baked some chipped rice and tied it up with Sudama's cloth. So Sudama went to Dwarka and he was completely overwhelmed with the opulence. And he saw these gorgeously dressed guards. And they were actually, there's so many people wanted to go inside, meet Krishna. But the guards were examining, what do you want? Oh, that's not good reason to see Krishna. No, sorry. What do you want? Who are you? I am the king of such and such place. Sorry, not now. Your application was not good enough. So Sudama was thinking, all these people are being refused. What will happen to me when he sees me in my rags and emaciated body, poverty-stricken condition? But surprisingly, as soon as the guards saw Sudama, offered obeisances, please come, please come. Please tell me what can we do for you. I actually came to see Krishna. Sure, come. So, please escort him. So they were escorted to Krishna's palace. It's taken straight into Krishna's inner chamber. And Krishna also was so excited. Hey, Sudama, how are you? And he went and embraced him. So happy to see you after such a long time. Come. He made Sudama sit on his throne. Rukmini Devi personally brought the water to wash Krishna's feet, Sudama's feet. Krishna himself washed his feet. And then they sat down and started to speak about their days together and also what actually happened afterwards. Sudama, what have you been doing all this while? And Sudama said, I'm just a Brahmana, you see. I do some studying, some teaching, and whatever I need, I just somehow is provided by Lord's mercy. And so in this way they spoke for a long time. Sudama was feeling embarrassed. Such opulent situation, and look what did I bring? Some chipped rice. Then when Sudama was not offering, Krishna asked, hey Sudama, you must have brought something for me. Generally when people come, they bring something. What did you bring for me? Then being asked like that, Sudama said, I got some chipped rice for you. Chipped rice? I didn't have chipped rice for so many years. Remember the chipped rice that our Guru Mata used to make? So Krishna took one mouthful and he started to glorify, oh, this chipped rice tastes even better than the nectar. And when Krishna was about to take the second handful, Rukmini Devi held his hand. My Lord, please don't take any more, because that you took that one handful of chipped rice that you took from your friend, I have been sold out to him. Now if you take any more, I don't know what to do. Maybe I have to go out to the baking bowl and start baking. So this is the benefit of serving Krishna. Krishna took just a handful of chipped rice and Mahalakshmi Devi was sold out. Sudama left. She was so happy to meet Krishna and had such a wonderful time. And while he was walking, he was thinking, what am I going to tell my wife? I completely forgot to ask anything from Krishna. Anyway, who cares? And then when he came to his village, he started to rub his eyes. Did I come to the right place? Because instead of his house, there was a huge palace. And he was hesitating, thinking, where did I come? Maybe I lost my way and came to a wrong place. And then he saw his wife dressed up like a queen, surrounded by so many beautiful women, is walking towards him. And this is how Sudama was blessed. He didn't even have to ask Krishna. Lakshmi Devi provided all that he needed. So this is the benefit of serving Krishna's lotus feet. We don't have to ask anything from Krishna. Lakshmi Devi will provide. She knows what we may need, and she will provide everything that we need. Another such wonderful incident also is the fruit vendor. Krishna was a little boy, and one day Krishna saw that one falwali, fruit vendor, was hawking fruits. So Krishna saw that the elderly people, they also call the fruit vendor or some vendors, and whatever they need, they give something in exchange to barter it. Those days there was no monetary exchange. It was barter. So Krishna saw that they would take some grains and give it. So Krishna called that fruit vendor, and he brought a handful of rice. Small little hand, how much rice he could carry. And while coming, half of it also fell off his hand. And he offered that, asking for some fruits in exchange. And that falwali was so overwhelmed with Krishna's affection for Krishna that she just took all the fruits and filled up Krishna's hands with that. She happily did that. This handful of grains really didn't mean anything to her at that time. And she picked up the basket and started to walk. The basket was feeling so heavy. What happened? It was so heavy that she was finding it difficult to even carry. She just lowered the basket and saw no fruits there. It's almost precious gems and jewels. The whole basket became filled with most precious gems and jewels. And also, when she came near her village, she also felt the same way. Did I lose my way and come to some wrong place? But this time her husband came out, dressed like a king and surrounded by majestic-looking persons. And so just by offering some fruits to Krishna, what kind of benefit she got. So this is how Krishna rewards his devotees. Therefore, when it comes to offering to Krishna, don't hesitate. Rather take it as an opportunity to do something for Krishna. And Krishna doesn't care. When I joined the movement, I heard one very nice thing from one of my god brothers. That is, Krishna never sees how much you give him. Krishna sees how much you give for yourself. So, and this is how we actually derive the ultimate spiritual benefit. So, the purpose of all these recollections and discussions is to simply become aware how wonderful Krishna consciousness is. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
Isn't Krishna's devotion wonderful? Isn't it wonderful to become Krishna's devotees?
Yes.
So that is how we must recognize the benefit or good fortune that we are actually experiencing now. Inconceivable good fortune. Thank you all very much. Does anybody have any question? Chandrasekhar?
You were describing Sudama's and Krishna's pastimes. He received and his wife a huge amount of material opulences. And we also hear from the Bhagavatam that Krishna says, when I bestow my special mercy upon my devotee, I take away his material opulence. And so we see, even among sadhakas, ordinary devotees, some become very rich when they take up Krishna consciousness, some lose tons of money. So how are we to reconcile these two apparent contradictory teachings and pastimes?
Well, the simple way to look at it is that Krishna will reciprocate according to the degree of our advancement. If we are neophyte, Krishna will say, take, take, take. Right? When we are more advanced, Krishna will say, give, give, give. And then when you become even more advanced, then Krishna says, I'm sorry, I'm taking everything away from you. Right? So that's how Krishna reciprocates, according to the devotee's advancement. If Krishna takes something away and you start crying, Krishna will say, okay, fine, I'm not going to take from you. But when a devotee is so advanced that his material situation may hinder his relationship with Krishna, then only Krishna will take away. But sometimes, as you are saying, devotees lose. Then we have to understand that they were not doing it for Krishna. They were doing it for their own benefit, and that's why they lost it, their own karma. Sometimes you see, as we were saying, like some devotees, neophyte stage, become very opulent. So we have to understand that just by rendering devotional service, they have acquired so much punya that they are getting these material benefits. But often what happens, these material benefits become an hindrance to their spiritual life. Isn't it? They get some material benefit, they render devotional service. Then as a result of the devotional service, they get some material benefit. And when they get this material opulence, then they get more and more and more involved in materialistic activities. So here we have to understand that Maya came. This is Maya's arrangement. Maya put them through test and they failed and they were drifting away from Krishna. Because Maya won't allow any unqualified person to enter into Krishna's kingdom. So Maya will always testing us. Are you qualified? Okay, let me see. Here is $1 million. Oh, I got million, I become a millionaire. So, let me buy a nice house. Let me get a nice wife. Let me get this, let me get that. And Krishna is forgotten. Do you want to get into that situation? Thank you. Very good. It's not that opulence and wealth don't come to a devotee. So what does a devotee do? Use it in Krishna's service. You read Bihad Bhagavatamritam. What was Gokumar doing? He became a king. But all his effort was to promote Krishna consciousness. He became Indra. All his arrangement was to make the whole world Krishna conscious. So this is how a devotee sees things. Yes.
Krishna, thank you very much. We often hear that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful than Krishna, because Krishna says, first surrender, then I will reward you. But at the same time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach Sharanagati in order to get the role of Krishna. So, how to reconcile these two aspects?
Yeah. You see, Sharanagati is the basic qualification. Surrender. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very merciful, very munificent, but still the consideration is whether we are able to receive the mercy. Our qualification is necessary. And that qualification is Sharanagati. Mahaprabhu is giving without any consideration. Like we can consider, as far as we are concerned, what is our qualification? But somehow, Prabhupada's mercy became so wonderfully manifest. And due to our good fortune, we have accepted the process. And the result is we are seeing what an inconceivable benefit we are deriving from that. Yes, Visheshwar.
In the Bhagavad Gita, we find the expression, the self-reliant soul. So what does that mean, self-reliant soul?
What did Bhagavad Gita say?
Self-reliant soul.
Okay, self-realized soul. Self-realized soul means one who understood that he is a spirit soul, not his body. Okay? So, have you become self-realized? Almost. Why almost? Fully.
Well, I would like to understand more about the expression self-reliant. Well, the self is spirit soul, or the spirit soul is the self?
Yes. Spirit soul is the real self. Right? So do you think you are your body or the soul?
Well, I mistake myself for the body, but
No, I'm asking you, what do you think you are?
I don't know my soul. It's unknown. It's secret. It's It's what I am fully, but I don't. There is a screen, there is a curtain impeding me to see what I am.
So in so many years you couldn't remove the curtain. Okay, try to remove it. And if you can't remove, ask some devotees to do it for you. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes, Jadurani.
Hare Krishna very much. I asked you earlier about how the gopis are linked to the queens, and you asked if there are there differences as well?
Different?
There's difference between the queens and the gopis?
Yeah.
Is it possible to elaborate?
Okay. One way to look at it is, or one information is, that some of the gopis wanted to give up their bodies. And so they were rescued by some individuals. Like for example, Lalita was rescued by Jambavan and she became Jambavati. Some took birth, right? Like you have to understand that they're expansions. They expanded into that. For example, Chandravali was born as the daughter of Bhishmaka, King Bhishma. Satyabhama was born, Radharani is born as Satyabhama, the daughter of King Satyajit. So here you have to understand that the gopis are there and their expansions are the queens. Like for example, as Krishna expands, Krishna's pleasure potency also expands. Krishna expands into Vasudeva, right? Then Radharani becomes Satyabhama. Chandravali becomes Rukmini. Then Krishna expands as Narayan. Then Radharani here becomes Lakshmi Devi. Krishna expands as Lord Shiva. The potency becomes Parvati. Tulsi Manjari?
When devotees have a loss of something, and when devotees face loss in their life, should we see it as a bad karmic reaction, or should we see it as Krishna's mercy that it was not good for us?
Both. It's bad karma, but it could have been so much worse. But by Krishna's mercy, it has been reduced. Say, for example, if we get a cut in my finger, devotee thinks that my whole hand was supposed to be chopped off. But just with a little cut, that karma, bad karma has been taken care of by Krishna's mercy. Because I have surrendered to Krishna, Krishna took care. Therefore, the devotees always look at things in a very positive way. Devotees are the real optimists, right? Do you know the difference between an optimist and pessimist? Tell me.
The optimists are always positive, even they see good in everything, and the pessimistic, they see negativity in everything.
Yeah. An example is, when the glass is okay, Kirti Kumari wants to say something.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe the example Morak is trying to refer to is the glass, like if it's half filled with water, the pessimist would look at it as if it's half empty, whereas the positive would see it as half full.
And optimist will say the glass is half full,
Yes.
and the pessimist will say the glass is half empty. So that is how. So how does the devotee see? Everything is positive. It could have been so much worse. I don't have any food to eat, but I have so much air to breathe. I never considered that. Isn't it wonderful to breathe? 1,000 times more relishable than the most delicious food. So this is how we can always see Krishna's mercy in a very, very positive way. And that's the point that I was trying to make. Materialists always complain how much I didn't get. But a devotee always sees how much Krishna has given him. A materialist thinks, oh, look at my house, it's falling apart, what a bad situation I'm in. But a devotee thinks, oh, Krishna has given me this beautiful hut. It's such a nice place. So that is how we can see everything in a very, very positive way. Yes, Ananda?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for this wonderful explanations. I would like to ask you, like when rendering devotional service, devotee often wants to render more devotional service, but there are impediments like physical, for example, like he has physical difficulties for chanting, or for going to the temple, or going to an aarti. And at times, difficulties may be because of his job, that he has to put many hours in his job to maintain his family. So, how to deal with that? That means he's less privileged, that person who rendered devotional service.
That means what?
He's less privileged, or less, you could say, placed in a wrong situation, because often it's said that devotional service doesn't depend on any physical or circumstances, not getting to devotional service in any...
Yeah. It doesn't depend upon the circumstances, it depends upon one's attitude, mentality. Can you imagine what situation can be worse than Prahlad Maharaj's situation? The father is trying to kill him. And such a powerful individual, he is trying to kill his little son. Now just try to consider any situation in relation to that. Can any situation be as critical as that? Look at the Pandavas. They were not only put into so much tribulations, they're wandering around in streets, when hiding their identity, because they didn't want the Pandavas, the Duryodhana and his people, to find out that they survived that burning Jaturgriha. Can you imagine, in the morning, they're the ruler of the entire earth planet. And by afternoon, they lost everything. Just in few hours, they lost everything. They were made to wear tree barks and walk into the forest. Tell me what situation can be worse than that? Therefore, a devotee always will see that no situation is bad enough. Okay. Yes, Suman?
So you mentioned how Radharani and Chandravali, their expansions are Rukmini and Satyavati. Radharani and Chandravali, we see they have a very strong rivalry. Does the same exist for Rukmini and Satyavati? Or even with the expansions, they reflect the relationship that the kind of original forms have?
Well, you have to see that the behavior in a village and behavior in a palace has to be something different, has to be different. Like they're complete rivals. Like as you say, although they're sisters. They're rivals, but in Dwarka, their situation is not like that. They have their own palace, but still the rivalry is there. When Krishna did something for Satyabhama, something for Rukmini, Satyabhama became upset. Why did you do it for me, not for me? Why did you do that for him, not for me? And sometimes Krishna would chastise her. So this is it. Like Rukmini is prominent in Dwarka, whereas Radharani is prominent in Vrindavan. Because in Vrindavan is the place of emotion. So here emotion prevails in that loving exchange. But in Dwarka they are in a regal situation. Their intelligence prevails. Therefore Rukmini is more prominent.
So does that mean Chandravali is more intelligent than Radharani?
Yeah. She is intelligent personified. Radharani is emotion personified.
Thank you very much for a wonderful narration to this class. Often I wonder, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come as Krishna himself, particularly this particular age, and often been reminded to us that how important it is for us to be extremely serious, which you mentioned many, many times. So how long is the time we have for this good fortune to receive as the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as Krishna himself, so that we can all go back to Goloka?
Don't worry about that. At least take advantage of your lifetime. Right? What does it matter when we are gone and if it is there? Anyway, but there is a saying that this movement, Prabhupada said, will be there, creating the good fortune for 10,000 years. Right? But what difference does it make? Right? Now you make the good fortune for 10,000 people, for others. Okay? Good. Good. Yes, Madhavendra.
It's a question for Radhadesh. In the Ujjain temple, Sandipalinga Ashram, it said that there is Nandini, the daughter of Surali, and sometimes she's lying down, she's reclining, and sometimes she's standing. So he's wondering why.
Nandi is the female version. Nandi is the male version and Surabhi is the female version. Right? So, Nandi is a male bull, Nandi bull, Surabhi cow. So, most of the time the bull is sitting and cows are standing. Bharati, you have a question?
Thank you very much for this seminar. Yesterday, you talked about Krishna never breaks his promise.
Did I say that?
Well, you said...
Rather, it's the other way around. Krishna sometimes breaks his promises.
Oh, thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
But then, did he break his promise to the gopis when he told them, every month I will come?
Oh yeah, okay. So, yeah. Krishna, so we have to understand that yes, Krishna went and met them. And the bigger understanding is Krishna never left Vrindavan. Krishna never left Vrindavan.
But they understand that because
By Jogomaya's arrangement, they feel that Krishna left. But Krishna didn't leave. Krishna came back. Do you remember that when Akrura was taking Krishna and Balaram, Akrura went to the Jamuna to take bath, and then he saw Krishna Balaram. So at that time, Krishna Balaram of Vrindavan went back to Vrindavan. And Vasudev and Sankarshan came and sat on the chariot. So who he brought to Mathura was actually Vasudev Krishna, not Brajendra Nandan Krishna. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop now. Thank you all very much. So this evening, okay, who is going to print those songs? Ramananda, can you do
I
that?
still have some copies.
Huh?
I still have some.
How many stanzas?
I have a stack, I have to check.
No, how many stanzas? Everything, all 21. That'll be too much. Maybe you can select a few and print them out. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.